take a moment to thank all of our coaches for their time and efforts this fall and congratulate you on the success of all of your teams. I'd like to thank Jim Bernard and his maintenance and custodial staff who get our fields ready at the beginning of the season and for our games. I'd like to thank Kathy Devens for typing tonight's program and Lisa Menard and Mary Rasco for typing the certificates. And lastly, we had two major projects going on in soccer with the building of a new concession stand and getting two fields down below the hill ready to use for practices, putting signs on the dugout and the fence, and the construction of a pavilion and storage area for the cross-country and track. Inside the program is a list of everyone that contributed in some way, and I hope I didn't miss anybody, to those projects, and we are thankful to all of them for their time and donations. Tonight we will recognize the students who participated in soccer and cross-country. This fall brought us beautiful weather, perhaps the nicest we've had. And amazingly, everyone was still practicing in shorts and t-shirts at the end of October. Whether the teams won or lost, all were highly successful and many championships were earned. Congratulations to our seniors, and hopefully you will take fond memories of your Northeastern Clinton soccer and cross-country experiences with you. This year in school we have a new computerized grading system for report cards. And they have, I believe they were just run late this afternoon. So the information there's some information missing in the programs on the Nice Offer Scholar Athlete Award and also the 90 averages. So if anyone is interested in getting a program with that information on it, as soon as I get that information, I will have it put on the program. And just give me a call and I'll make sure you get a copy of that. I'll ask you to please hold your applause until each team has been introduced. And it would be greatly appreciated if you would listen quietly while the coaches are speaking. And also ask you to remain in the auditorium for the full first session. Right now, I'd like to call down the girls' modified soccer team.
Yeah, you go first. I'll go. I go first.
Rachel Everett, Samantha Sears, Nikki Smith, Caitlin Bourgeois, Catherine Deachin, Nicole Fillion, Amanda Forey, Nicole Harvey, Alyssa Hicks, Megan Langer, Claire Parker, Allie Sisson, Jessica Van Leuven, Margarita Passero, Morgan Baker, Melinda Bayshard, Millie Copeland, Mara Freiby, Brianna Fosier, Mary Elizabeth Frankie, Ashley Goyette, Taylor Kelsey, Ashley Lamberton, Alyssa Rabideau, Katie Lynn Tierney, Manager Christina Roberts, Manager Ivory Racine. Please welcome our girls modified soccer team.
Good evening, players, parents, friends, family, and fellow coaches. I would like to start the evening by thanking my girls, as well as the managers Christina Roberts and Ivy Racine, for giving me another enjoyable as well as memorable season. their parents for their support throughout the season, Josie Gilroy for her organizational skills to put the entire NCCS fall seasons together, and last but not least, my fellow middle school coaches, Tim Supana and Rob Garand, for answering any questions that I had, listening to my accounts of our games, and giving me all their wise and knowledgeable coaching advice. It is wonderful to be able to have such positive role models to look up to and one day emulate. We began our season on September 17th with a 3-0 win over Beekmantown. Our next win was in overtime against Peru, and we met our only loss of the season in our third game against Saranac Lake with a score of 3-2. The next 6 games handed us 5 wins and our only tie of the season to PHS. The time for vengeance came against Saranac Lake on Saturday, October 16th. My girls played with all their hearts and we ended up winning 4-2. The 2 final games of the season came much too quickly, and I don't really think we were ready for soccer to be over. This was further proven to me when I organized an indoor team and I still have 12 of my players every Friday night playing and improving each week. Each one of these young ladies holds a special place in my heart, and I'll be greatly saddened to see 3 of my freshmen leave me next year. Sammy Sierra played front line and was consistently going strong to the ball and winning with a majority of 50-50 balls against our opponents. Rachel Everlick and Nikki Smith, both defenders, were my captains this year. They both took the responsibility seriously and led our team to victory, both on and off the field. I have no doubt in my mind that most of my 8th graders will be playing JV next year, and I will miss each and every one of you. Jessica Leuven, our team comedian. Alyssa Hicks, whose aggressiveness and speed will make her a threat on the front line in years to come. Caitlin Bourgeois is a strong defender with a solid foot. Claire Parker has the ability to hustle to the ball and anticipate what opponents will do with the ball. Megan Langer is a player I know who, if she gets knocked down, will get back up and always give me 100%. Allie Sisson never complains, she listens very well, and always put forth her best effort playing halfback for me. Nicole Harvey is the fastest sprinter on front line. She always has the drive to take the ball into the net for us. Amanda Forey seems like a quiet girl, but get her out on that soccer field and she becomes aggressive. I never worried about anyone beating Amanda to the ball. And finally, Nicole Fillion, who is always telling me to get mad at her and yell at her. She would do better. Well, she's playing indoor with me right now. We're still working on her motivation techniques. She always has a drive and the will to improve her skills. And when my 7th graders came to me this year, the only one that I knew was Katie Lynn Tierney from her older sister Danielle. As for the other 11, I didn't have a clue who they were. Morgan Baker and Ashley Boyette did an excellent job playing wings at midfield for me. Bree Folger, Mayla Copeland, and Margarita Serra all proved to be strong on the front line. Margarita has excellent moves, Bree never gets tired, and Mealy very often wants to play in another position than the one that I put her in. Katie Tierney and Alyssa Ravenou played defense, and despite their size, they never backed down from our opponents. Both girls have great speed and the ability to see the entire field. Taylor Kelsey and Mary Elizabeth Frankie played center halfback and center fullback respectively. They both controlled the center of the field beautifully, and what was nice about these 2 girls was their understanding of teamwork, and this showed in their unselfish play time and time again. Melinda Bayshard and Ashley Lamberton shared the majority of time in net for me this year. These poor little peanuts are the 2 smallest girls on my team. They took this responsibility and actually did an outstanding job on the net for us. Sorry girls, but I think unless you grow another 8 or 9 inches, both of you will see more playing time out on the field in years to come. When asked what I remember about this year's team, I remember their heart, their absolute love of soccer, and absolute wanting to do their best, not only for themselves, but for their teammates as well as myself. This is something you can't teach a person. It has to come from within, and I'm so happy to say that this year's team always had the desire to play soccer and play to their fullest potential. Each year, most improved player is chosen. This year's most improved player came to me last year without a lot of confidence in herself. Over the past 2 years, this player has developed into a strong defender who doesn't let her emotions get the best of her. She has a mission when she's out on that field, and she simply goes out on the soccer field and completes that mission. Catherine Dici is this year's most improved player. valuable player, I am certain that I can kiss this player goodbye next year. It's definitely understood. As a 7th grader playing center halfback, she led our team with 9 goals this season, 2 of them being overtime goals to take us into the lead. This is the kind of player she is. After a game of beaten town, she was visibly upset. And when I asked this young lady what was wrong with her, she was sad because she didn't think she played well and she let the team win. It didn't matter that we had won 3-0. She was upset because she didn't feel that she had performed her absolute best. Mara Five-Eye is a gifted athlete, and we will see more and more of her over the years to come. And she is this year's MVP. I want to thank you all for your time and attention. And once again, I would like to thank my girls for making my life brighter and making me smile every day. And it means the world to me. Thank you.
This season was an overall success. We made it through the season with only 1 loss and 1 tie. By the end of the season, we didn't only come together as a team, but we played as a team. Ms. Hanfield was and is a great coach, and every person on the team learned a great deal from her. If there were a Hall of Fame for coaches, she would definitely be in it. For many of us, this was our last year with Ms. Hanfield as our coach. Our team had a successful season, and we had a great time along with it. Throughout the course of the season, we not only played and worked as a team, but we were a team. This year was a great learning experience and one of the best soccer seasons we've had, and it's all thanks to you, Ms. Hanfield. Thank you for being such an outstanding coach. You made us a wonderful year and will be greatly missed next year.
Perhaps we should take a walk down the runway, folks. So we have the modified boys soccer team down front, please.
Jill in front of me.
Ryan Armstrong. Ben Dragoon. Trevor Batchelder. Dylan Castine. Brad Decoff. Matt Farbotko. Connor Herdick. Nathan Lamberton. Casey Letourneau.
Whoops. It's an ELA still.
Where were we? Gerald Martin. Andy Matot. Joey Ormsby. Dylan Sample. Casey Trombley. Brett Mosley. Randy Grimshaw. Fred Hapwood. Kyle Kessler. Brandon Lemire. Devin Poisson, Nick Vandermonnick. Please welcome the boys' modified soccer team and coach Rob Guernsey.
I think tonight we deserve another hand for these boys and these nice ties up here, showing how you should look when you come to an award ceremony. I will sound like the real me tonight and not Miss Hanfield, but I'll videotape you in her classroom and see if she's that soft-spoken. They just think you're so kind. Tonight I wanted to focus a little differently on, we always go through and talk about each of our players, but I wanted to focus more on after losing an athlete a couple weeks ago, and coaches, for example, Mrs. Dumas, who started me off in my coaching career, as well as Frank, of what truly do our kids have, and what makes our kids so good and so successful. Well, first it will tie into this year's boys modified soccer team. As always, we strive towards our goals, always working to our maximum potential, whether on or off the field. The team accomplished another championship season, which in total is our 6th consecutive championship in our modified program, which I may add has often followed up to our junior varsity, and this year our varsity team being undefeated and going on to a much, much further program and have a lot to be proud of, as well as Coach Hawksby. Like past seasons, my young athletes conducted themselves in such a positive manner, whether the focus was playing style, support of our program, or exhibiting proper sportsmanship. These attributes were recognizable to opposing players, parents, coaches, and officials alike. It is a supportive environment that we provide, whether to students, school officials, positive connections to non-parent adults, and most importantly you, the parents, which makes the entire NCCS school community help to mold our students into caring, reliable, active, and successful citizens. Observe our community teams at a contest. Look up in the stands or across the field and witness the support our young people have. Attend the Booster Club meeting and see for yourself the countless hours that are spent behind the scenes, making sure we always look our best and keep our quality programs. Notice banners and advertisements of local businesses always wishing our teams well, supporting tournaments. Mr. Dumas donating a lot of the money back from the Moore's Youth Commission tournament for an area of our soccer field of an additional loan to the fencing unit. We witness a lot of time at practices, the cross-country teams, many countless hours setting up. So much goes unrecognized. Our youth commissioners and coaches continue to provide opportunities for our athletes to learn the fundamental skills with effective instruction while most importantly, focusing on the value of fair play. Last but not least, our coaches who focus on the individual child, especially during the middle school years, trying to teach good values and decisions to lead living a safe and healthy life. So tonight I think we should join and applaud all of ourselves, because as we can realize, it takes an entire village to raise our children. We've done a very good job at that. Before I begin recognizing this year's squad, I'd like to congratulate all of our fall sports teams on great successful seasons. More to a personal level, I'd like to congratulate 2 relatives that are ending their successful high school journeys here at Northeastern Clinton. Travis Dragoon. That's all I can express, I guess, and as you know, he's not shy. An awesome runner who will be well known for many years to come and talk about as far as at the cross-country field as well as track. And Tom Babby, a true champion when it comes to soccer and basketball. Now about this year's squad. Ryan Armstrong, Ben Dragoon, 2 ninth grade athletes, did a great job defensively for us. Sometimes I can get frustrated with them, but I get frustrated with all of them sometimes. So a big key to our success. They really stepped up and had some great leadership qualities. Joey Ormsby, Brad DeCoste, Dylan Sample, Casey Letourneau, Dylan Castine. Additional assets to our backfield. We posted 8 shutouts this year with Trevor Batchelder playing many key games in goal, and they just did a super job. Kyle Keswick, Nick Vandermunick, Randy Grimshaw, Devin Poisson, Brandon Lemire, Fred Hapgood, Brett Bosley, our 7th graders who are going to be very instrumental to future teams. They did a super job in their first season and stepped it up when they needed to. Matt Frabacco, Nathan Lamberton, Connor Herdick, Casey Trombley in the line positions, as well as other people that play flexible positions, did a super job offensively for us, getting some nice early leads and keeping the strength where the ball needs to be at most of the time. Again, Trevor Batchelder in goal, Andy Mata also in the midfield position. I'd like to at this time direct more attention to focus of Andy Mata. Andy at the beginning of the season, he's one to, of course he knows probably if he did come back with a statement he probably would be in trouble. But he was removed from the middle of the line because I felt we needed more progress and we needed to make a move. And I moved him back to halfback. It's amazing sometimes once you give the opportunity and chances because that is his true calling. For not a heck of a lot of size, he uses his body well, he shields the ball well, has a great attitude, and for many big games, he was the key to our midfield, which caused a lot of success. So the good attitude and hard work pays off. I'm sure Coach Dumas next year will enjoy you in your new position, where you are very effective, and that's one of the reasons why I chose Andy Mata as this year's most improved player. I decided to go with the second most improved player, most valuable player. I find it very difficult at times. There's just sometimes occasions that different people step up when they need to. For example, I may have somebody score 3-4 goals one game and look like they're at home watching cartoons the next, and we needed somebody else. So when they needed to be there, they were there. But this young man was getting about half the game, and then eventually he started working his way up the ladder even more. A little slow on his feet, and then as conditioning went through, he would just have 3-4 people on him and end up, he'd come out of that pack with the ball. Beautiful job of soccer sense, knowing when to cross the ball, setting up the offense where it needed to be played. And another one that deserves total recognition tonight, that'd be Brett Bosley. Just a couple things, as I stated, they were all key to our success. It takes a team. Just a couple other points that I'd like to add. If Brandon Chicken Wing Lemire would step up, just a little forward. I know you're scared. Coach Hawksby in the house here? Coach Hawksby. Size doesn't matter in soccer, right? Let me tell you something. We can bring any WWE superstar up front, and this young man will not back down from anything. You will enjoy him. I bet you'll be seeing varsity early. I hope you do grow a little to help yourself out. But a big year for Brandon. Connor Herdick. First of all, Mr. Cokes, you may have gotten Travis Dragoon, but you will not get Connor Herdick. It's just very unfortunate that Connor has soccer at the same time as cross country because he definitely would be a star in cross country as well. Connor looks right now, as you would think, shy. But that's why I'm paying special attention to him, because any coach that gives somebody the time of day, a very fine individual that will be missed a great deal, and actually very funny once you do get him to talk. So this year he spoke, last year he was in mute, but now we're making progress. You better be ready to talk, because when you get to Coach Dumas, you think I'm mean. And he's back there listening too. And last but not least, Fred Hapgood, would you step forward? Lori, I'm sorry. That's the first thing I'll start off with. If you went home one night and heard that I told him to shut up, I did. This is a kid, a very good kid, I may add. I have never seen anybody talk so much in my entire life. When we are trying to be serious, focus on the game, anything whatsoever, I always had every team, no matter what I was coaching, focus, eyes on me. And then here's Freddie. Always supporting what I'm saying, like the team could not hear me. He's going to reiterate everything I just said. Mom, who is a sweetheart of a lady, but I realized what she did. You know, Mom, she would send you into school with me for banana bread and cookies. She did it because I was giving her a break. I thought she was doing it to be nice, but she is enjoying her break. That's why she pushed you into basketball and probably going to tell you to go to baseball and all these openings there. And I told him he'd be best. That's why we don't call him Fred anymore. We call him Alfreda, because someday we're going to send him to the nursing home and they'll be able to have some community chat sessions. And he's going to be just a great contributor to the future teams and the world, because we definitely know he'll never run out of words. In closing, again, I'd like to thank all my team and again, all the parents. And yes, some days you drive me nuts, but even you, Mrs. Gilroy. Thank you.
Do I get to tell you how many times you drive me nuts? Like being late tonight? Could we have the girls' modified cross-country team now come, please? Cora Carson, Megan Chu, Emily Duffy, Sylvia Horn, Kylie Fontaine, Carrie McGee, Sarah Slater, Alexis Ride, Jessica Favreau, Alyssa Menard, Liz Vincelette. Please welcome the girls' modified cross-country team and coach.
My special assistant tonight. All right. Modified girls. What a season. Rob Guerin thinks he's got a kid that can talk. I don't have one. I have a whole team. This was an excellent bunch of girls. Came out this year. Many of them new. Some returners from last year, and just gave one heck of an effort all the time. The constant improvement that was shown was just heartwarming. There, that's better. Kids that couldn't run a mile without stopping. We get to the end of the season, now they're like 3 or 4 miles without stopping. A few of the kids stuck it out. We had a couple workouts where they ran together with the varsity, and a couple of them even stuck it out the whole workout with the varsity. Found out they like hills, some of them. Found out dessert is not always as much fun as they thought it was, but how good it is for them. A heck of a group, a lot of fun, kept the bus rides interesting, and just made things enjoyable as the whole season went on. So I can't say enough about that. I look forward to seeing them next year, and it's a very strong group of girls that are going to make an excellent contribution to the varsity next year, and those 7th graders will be coming back, should have an excellent second modified year. So thank you girls for a good season. You want to say something?
Congratulations, girls, modified.
Okay. I have a most improved and a most valuable runner for the modified team. Our most improved runner for this season for the modified girls came through, started off the year a little bit slow, just built up meet by meet, just got better and better every time. As the workouts progressed, she started going faster and faster. Improved, was a joy to have all the time. If I asked her to do the workout, she did it. Never backed down, never gave me any excuses. Just went out and ran, and I believe at the end of the season, and our final race of the year was our top runner, and our most improved girl modified is Alexis Roddy. And our most valuable runner this year on the modified team came out. My other team's loss is my gain, I guess. Didn't end up playing soccer, so came out for cross country, and lucky me. Shows up a couple days into it, we go to our first meet, and she wins. So I'm like, okay, this is better than I thought it was going to be. Just was a joy to have. Like Mr. Guerin said, sometimes you'd like her to read a book or eat something while she's on a bus ride instead of talking, but you'll never lose her. And that's another story for another time. Anyway, that's for varsity. Just an excellent addition to this team. She has a lot of future potential when she gets to varsity, and I look forward to seeing her around for quite a few years. Most valuable runner for the modified, Cora Carson. And that's our girls modified team.
I would like to thank everyone who came tonight, but I mostly want to thank Chuck Connor, Ms. McPhelps-Stridge, Mr. Kelly Dredgen, Mr. Canning, Mr. Noble, Mr. Hurdick, and mostly Mr. Coates, or as some known as K-Dog. Without any of these people, we wouldn't have cross country. K-Dog loves seeing us run our hills. Like Emily said, Cougars love the hills.
We love Otter Dirt. It's not tasteful. He also had two sayings, run faster and push in the middle, but we can't till next year.
We would also like to thank the son.
Would Catherine Hurdick please come down front? She loves being on the spot. In each season, the CVAC All-Academic Award is presented to two senior athletes in recognition of their contribution to and achievement in sport, as well as their success in academics. And for the fall 2004 season, our female recipient is Catherine Hurdick. There is a patch that goes with that. It should be here tomorrow morning. Okay. And your picture will be in the paper somewhere in the next 3 months. Now would the girls varsity cross country team come down, thank you. I need to get myself one of those pictures. Karen Acero. Aaron Connor. Catherine Hurdick. Katie Houle. Mallory Norton. Jessica Bayshard. Leah DeMore. Carrie Pieper, Audrey Gillette, Gretchen Thone, Erin Duffy, Megan Rainville, and Brittany Trahan. Please welcome the girls varsity cross country team coach.
All right, I'd like to start with just general comments on the cross-country team this year. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the other teams on their success this year, boys and girls soccer, varsity, JV, and modified. An excellent year all around. Northeastern Clinton teams, again, excellent representation of our school and our community. I don't have any relatives like Mr. Guerin, so I'll just make it a general comment. I'd like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank my wife, Kathy, for her support, as always. It's not always easy waiting for me to come home from Ticonderoga, Tupper Lake, and places like that at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. I'd like to thank my assistant, Christopher, who's always there supporting our team. He calls it his team. I don't know if I thought I was a coach, but I guess obviously I've been replaced. I'd like to thank the parents. Without the parents, we wouldn't have the students. You guys do an excellent job. This group is an excellent example of parenting. They're a fantastic bunch of kids. They are polite, they are well behaved, they are a joy to be with, they are a wonderful reflection of you as parents. And I don't think parents always give themselves enough credit or get enough credit, but when you see kids like this, you know it has to come from somewhere, and it didn't come from them alone, so hats off to all of you out there. For your support, your time. It's not easy juggling around our schedules, especially if you have more than one kid in more than one sport. I also like to thank the Cougar Running Club. Without them, my job would be impossible. They do all the work. It makes me look good. Setting up the course, our invitational, I did absolutely nothing. Maybe less than nothing. They did all the work. They're just a wonderful bunch of people. I can't say enough about them. Special recognition to Chuck Connor, who has been the president of that club for 5 years now. For 5 years, just does fantastic things. Always ahead of things. Always one step ahead of things, and just the effort put out by him is just very impressive. And we're going to be sorry to see him go because his daughter's graduating. Because kids tend to get older and leave. I'd like to thank Janet Petridge. Later, she's stepping in as president of the Cougar Running Club, which is very nice and very much appreciated. Without that club, our team, well, I would have to work a lot harder. God knows about that. I also have to thank the kids. They work hard. They always listen. They do what I ask them to do, generally without any complaints. They're just a wonderful bunch of student athletes, and I say student first because not only are they good athletes, but as we saw with Patron, they are also wonderful students. And really, that's what we're here for: is make better students, and athletes kind of come second. And they definitely exemplify that. Let's see. Also thanking the kids. I have to, again, I'll put him on the stage here. One of the best things I had this year was our invitational meet. If you saw that, at the beginning they have a kids run, and it was about a half-mile run. And I told them that he'd be there, so they all showed up earlier than they had to for the most part. Came out to support him, so they're out warming up and jogging around, and I saw him at the top of the hill, and I said, Krista would really like somebody to, so I'd like you guys to greet him at the finish line, and if you would say, well, can't we run down with him? And if you could have seen the look on his face, I have it on video. If I had the equipment, I'd have put it up there like a big thing, and everybody could see it over and over again, endlessly. And but if you could have seen his face when he saw those kids all run behind him, and if you see on the video, it's like a wall of maroons surrounding him. But his face when he saw them run with him was just, that made the whole season right there. And it was only in the first few weeks. But it really kind of exemplifies the type of kids that these guys are. They would take the time to spend some time with an 8-year-old. Not all high school kids would do that. And it's just very much appreciated, and they will be always remembered by me and by this guy. Seniors, I have to give a special thanks to them. This is probably the last time I'll give this kind of thanks. Seniors, again, last year was my first year here, and they had Mr. Powers for an excellent coach for a number of years. Seniors let me come in, let me make some wholesale changes, let me do what I wanted to do, no complaints, no questions, no how we're doing this now, we never did this before, and I'm not doing this. And it's all new to me. They just did it, they accepted it, they bought into my system and the way I do things. Hopefully they had fun, hopefully they improved, and just a special thanks to them for all the work that they did over the past couple years for me. All right, girls team. Now the girls have stood up there listening to me ramble on for a while. Girls team. I'll talk about you for 10 seconds or so. Now, the girls had an excellent season. Again, they worked as hard as ever, sometimes harder than ever. Great improvements. Surprised the whole league this year. They were 16-4, finished second in the league. Not exactly the team that was picked early in the season to finish second in the league. Most people probably would have picked it fourth or fifth, so they just took on the challenge, ran hard, have a wonderful work ethic. They were third in our own invitational this year, went down to Burnt Hills, and we were third down there. They just made everything just a wonderful season. And I'm extremely proud of these girls. And they never gave up, they never backed down, even from the best team in the league. They just took the challenge on and constantly did better and better every year. So a wonderful season for the girls, and I will miss you until next year. And those of you seniors, I'll miss you even past next year. All right, most improved. I usually make decisions. They couldn't make a decision this year, so I have two most improved. So I guess I have co-most improved. The first most improved runner. Started off the year, I knew she was a good modified runner, had her last year. I knew there was some potential there. I didn't realize quite how much potential was going to be there. Just kept moving up throughout the team from the beginning of the year to the end. Probably started off as our fourth or fifth girl, moved up steadily, was our second girl. She was a CBAC All-Star. She's definitely a front runner for the future. Missed our state meet by a mere 4 seconds, which I'll never let her forget. All right, our first most improved runner this year, who already knows who she is, Brittany Trahan. My second most improved runner was a shock, because if I stood up here at the beginning of September and told you that I knew this girl was going to be the most improved runner, I'd be a liar. Just came out, nice girl. Very quiet, very patient. Did the workouts, did what I asked her to do, but we get through our time trial and we're 10th out of 11, I think, or 10 and a half out of 11, something like that. Get to our first race, nice girl, she's always doing the workouts. Comes in for the first meet of the year, and she does all right. She comes in and has a pretty decent race, and like, good job. Also, I think we go down to Queensbury for the Invitational, and all of a sudden she's like a flash of light. Ran really well down there. And then we get to our Invitational, and ran really fast. I think she was, second at our Invitational, and just continued to improve from there. Ended up being our fourth girl on the season. Just a joy to have, and a wonderful surprise, because you don't always see that. So our second most improved runner, Megan Rainville. And our most valuable player, leader on this team, been to the state meet 5 years in a row, I believe. CBAC All-Star, I think that many times. More determination, if anybody's seen the 2 out of the last 3 races. More determination than I'd ever have. More determination than most athletes I know of. Just doesn't let anything stop her. Ran most of our workouts with the boys, if not all the workouts with the boys. Never backed down from anything. Also our Section 7 Sportsmanship Award winner. Just a wonderful addition to this team. Sorely missed, and I've enjoyed the time I've had to coach her. Most valuable player, Kate Norris. And that's it.
I've been running cross country since 7th grade, and it has been enjoyable and rewarding for me over the years. Being a senior, I will always remember the good times that were had during cross country, like our meals at the Golden Corral and our various bus rides. I, as well as the team, have some thank yous to make. Thank you to the Cougar Rowing Club for the major role they played in our success as a cross country team. Special thank you goes out to CRC, the parents, and the NCCS janitorial staff for their hard work on our building. Thank you to Mrs. Gilroy for the superb job she does as an athletic director. Thank you to Mr. Calvin Castine for taping some of our home cross-country meets. Thank you to Tasha Stephen for being our manager. Thank you to Chris Coates for bringing your energetic attitude whenever you were at our practices and our meets. Thanks most of all to Mr. Coates. It's been a great 2 years. You have a unique sense of humor. And you're always reminding us that there's always room for dessert. And to the team, second place was nice this year, but don't settle for any less than first place next year. So go out and work hard and meet those Redstone girls.
I've also been running since 7th grade, and this being my senior year, I'm going to look back on my cross-country memories with much satisfaction, but I'm greatly going to miss all the fun times that I had. I'd like to thank Mr. Cokes for coaching our team for the past 2 years. It was because of him and his multiple servings of dessert that our season was such a success. I'm also thankful for his efforts in literally supporting me at the end of some races where I didn't feel so great. And thanks to the CRC for allowing us to be the Golden Corral and for organizing our invitational. Finally, I bestow my best wishes on the girls cross country team for next year and future years. Good luck in all you do, and I'm going to miss you guys. That you guys made this my best year, and I had a lot of fun, and I'm really going to miss you guys next year. You're a great group of people.
I'm not a senior, I'm a junior this year, but I think everybody needs to realize that, I'm going to miss you guys really much. Katrin and Aaron, Katie and Mallory and Karen. They've always been here for us, and they made our they made our seasons the greatest, and I don't think they realize how much they're going to be missed and how much we love them. So thank you.
We have the boys varsity cross country team down there, please. Travis Ragel. Brad Trahan. James Cruz, Ian Jensen, Alex Menard, Mike Noggle, Joe Kupel, Bobby Grimm, Adam Bayshard, Patrick Holmes. Please welcome the boys varsity cross country team, and again, Coach Dave Coach.
All right, me again. Gotten bored with me yet? I guess you're in for a treat. All right, boys season. Boys also had an excellent season. Also went to the girls 16-4. Also surprising quite a few people. Boys, we had a good core of people last year, and we added some definite improvements or some definite excellent additions this year, and that really made us a strong contender in the league. We were first at our own invitational, which I believe is the first time we've won our invitational. I could be wrong about that, but I believe it's the first time. They were third at the Queensbury Invitational, and that was not class, that was including all the schools that ran in the state, big, small, and medium. That was just an excellent race. We had a fantastic year. They, again, worked as hard as anybody. The thing that was the best for me this year was the team attitude. Last year, our attitude was more supporting one person. We did have Travis was unbeaten, as most people know, in the CVAC last year. It was a race. This year, the whole attitude of this team was different. It was a team attitude. They set a goal at the beginning of the year, and they worked towards it all the time. They always kept that in focus. They never lost sight of that goal. They went through everything, even when I had dessert. I didn't hear any rumblings this year. Oh no, it's just let's do it. Let's get it done. And it was just a pleasure to have them. They worked through adversity this year. They never gave up. Definitely when they could have, just thrown in the towel. They sucked it up. They said, let's do what we have to do. And just had a tremendous year. And I couldn't be prouder of any team than I am of these guys and the way they finished out. So it was just a wonderful year. I will always remember this team. I thank the seniors for their time, for their efforts, for their leadership. And yes, you guys were leaders, if you don't want to admit it. Just a pleasure to have, and again, just like the girls were as nice to this guy as any bunch of teenagers will ever be to an 8-year-old, and to a 7-year-old last year when he was younger. So boys, thank you very much, and you had a tremendous season, and you deserve everything that you guys got. Most improved runner this year. It was kind of a toss-up, and I was hemming and hawing about giving two, but I just gave one this year for most improved. New to cross country this year, he had an immediate impact, but even though he made that impact right off the bat, he wasn't happy with that. He wanted to keep moving up. He met every challenge that I gave him. At sectionals this year, I said you had to go 1, 2, 3, which means you had to beat some of the people that had beaten him earlier in the year. Stepped right up and did it, led us to a 1, 2, 3 finish at the Section 7 class being me. He was one of our CVAC All-Stars, and one of the definite building blocks for the next couple of years. So our most improved runner this year, Bobby Grimm. MVP this year. Last year, as I said before, the whole season pretty much in his mind, I think most of the mind of people on the team was all about him. This year, there was none of that. There was no worry about me this year. The first thing he said this year was we're going to the States as a team. The whole thing was as a team, and that was his entire attitude all year long. He took on a leadership role more this year than last year. Just for individual glory, he did set a course record at Tupper Lake this year. He was a CVAC All-Star this year and last year, and I think the year before. State qualifier again this year. Just a pleasure to see the way he has grown over the last year or so. Most valuable runner on our team, Travis Stryker.
Congratulations, boys and girls varsity.
Okay, this year was another good year for us guys. We finished 16-4, and we really look forward to winning sectionals this year. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. We had a lot of good times, and I'm really going to miss the camaraderie we had and just the overall feeling we had running together, practicing together. I'd like to thank the Cougar Running Club for all the support and working on the course. Mr. Coates has been great for the last 2 years, taking over the role of Mr. Powers. There's three basic rules that he had. First, we represent ourselves. Second, the school. And third, and most importantly, Mr. Coates himself. Everything revolves around Mr. Coates and this team. Even though he doesn't like to admit it, we all know it does.
Alright, I'm just going to share some memories from this year. The earliest one being, I think it was our second race, and Bucket got lost. He got lost. I don't know how, but he got lost. So now we call him Lost Boy. There was one time we were at Burger King. Mike, I don't know how he did it, but he ate 4 Whoppers and fries. I don't know how he did it. Mike's crazy. At Pizza Hut, the last time we were there, we kind of got into a spitball fight. We just spitballs flying everywhere, and it was fun. Yeah, we're just gonna take up a lot of time right now. No, I got some more minutes. Okay. The coach, you don't know this, but during the hill workouts, the long hill workouts, when you place the cone, you would kick it like 20 feet up the hill. Just because you didn't want to do your hands so fast. Yeah. That's all I got right now.
That's all I think you guys got for.
Thank you all for coming. You're welcome to stay in the second session.
Look, Mom, I'm on TV! Oh, you got first cops know this?
Who recognize the students who participated in soccer and cross country. This fall brought us beautiful weather, perhaps the nicest we've had in years. And amazingly, everyone was still practicing in shorts and t-shirts at the end of October and not hats and mittens. Whether the teams won or lost, all were highly successful, and many championships were earned. Congratulations to our seniors, and hopefully you will take fond memories of your NCCS soccer games and experiences with you. We have a new computerized grading program this year, and the report cards were not run in time for me to get the information onto the program of the athletes that had 90 averages and above, and also the Scholar Athlete Team Award. I will put that onto a program as soon as I can get that information, and if anyone would like a new program with that typed into it, just give me a call and I'll make sure you get a copy. I'll call each team up individually and we'll read their names. Coach will hand out their packet, and then please wait till all of them have received the packets before your applause. It would be greatly appreciated if you would be quiet while everyone is speaking about the athletes and the teams that they're recognizing, and also ask you to remain in the auditorium for the full session. First team I would like to call down front is the girls' JV soccer team. Jenna Burley, Heather Decos, Marianne Duty, Amanda Goodfellow, Casey Ladd, Jenna Van Leuven, Megan Bayshard, Danny Boris, Sarah Katie Hardigan, Kessa Piro, Amanda Rabideau, Danielle Kearney, Melanie Barrier, Jennifer Bayshard, Courtney Brooks, Johnny Ray Corrier, Kimberly Dragoon, Colleen Honan, Chantel Valley, Erin Macy, Megan McComb, Brooke Supernaut, Manager Cassandra Ashline, and Manager Jessica DeRocha. Please welcome the girls' JV soccer team and coach Tim Supernaut.
Good evening. I'd like to congratulate the boys and girls modified teams, the boys JV and varsity teams on the championship season. Northeastern Clinton has a strong tradition in both boys and girls soccer. Every year when we set our goals, we strive to be the champions. This year was no different. Even though the JV girls did not meet all their goals, I feel we had a very successful season with an overall record of 12-6. This year's squad had 16 new girls join the team, 10 of them 8th graders. With so many new and young girls, I wasn't sure what to expect. After the first few games, I was pleasantly pleased. Then we hit what I call the rocky road. During the rocky road, my frustration level began to grow. The team was not playing to its potential every game. The Saturday night game was the final straw. I felt I needed to send a message to the girls. This was accomplished with a series of hard practices that I do not think I could have survived. During these practices, we focused on what we needed to be successful. The two most important things were playing an 80-minute game and working together as a team. This was a turning point in our season. We dominated the remaining games and received a number of nice comments. One of the best comments was from the Saranac Lake coach, who stated that we were by far the best team they have played. This was great for the girls and myself to hear. At this time, I'd like to do something a little bit different. Normally, I talk about certain games that happen throughout the year, but I feel this year I would like to talk about each girl individually, starting with my captains. Jenna Van Leuven. This was Jenna's second year at the JV level and the third with me. She had an outstanding year, leading the team in goals and assists. Jenna was also a vocal leader of the team and a great captain. Marianne Duty. First thought, wrapping her ankle. By the end of the year, I was great at wrapping ankles. Marianne started and ended the year strong, but unfortunately she was injured during the middle of the season. She always gives 110% and will be a good addition to next year's team. Kessa Perro. How many times did she get mad at me? I can't count that high. Kessa logged a lot of minutes for me on defense and is a solid player. She always tried to do her best. I hear that next year she's moving on to varsity. I wish her the best of luck and will continue to push her until she reaches her full ability. Amanda Goodfellow. Another player that had to deal with me for 3 years. This year, Amanda scored a number of winning goals. It was unfortunate that she, too, was injured during the middle part of the season. Casey Ladd. Speed. During tryouts, I was amazed by her speed. She ended up playing defense for me and doing an outstanding job. Unfortunately, she, too, was injured at the end of the year. Jenna Burley. Jenna played a forward position and some defense for me. The one thing that I will always remember about Jenna is her arms flying all over the place when she kicks the ball. Heather Dekas, the shy one. Heather always gave her best effort. She scored 3 goals this year, 2 of them being the first and last goals of the season. Heather was a pleasure to coach. Danielle Tierney, goalie. Danielle amazed us all against PHS when she outsmarted everyone by letting an indirect shot go into the net. She's a very smart player that does whatever it takes to help her team and teammates. Danny Boris. Danny played just about everywhere on the field this year. She did whatever I asked of her and was a team cheerleader. She always played hard and gave 100%. Sarah Katie Hardigan. Sarah Katie would do anything to stop the opposing team. She impressed me a number of times throughout the season with her toughness and determination. She is harder on herself than anybody else is on her. I feel it is important for her to hear that she is an outstanding soccer player. Amanda Rabideau. Another girl that was out for a few games during the middle of the season. She played center half for me most of the time. Even though Amanda did not score a goal, she set up many of her teammates. Amanda is a great passer and just loves to play soccer. I am looking forward to coaching her again next year. Megan Bayshard. Megan Bayshard is this year's most valuable player. I'm not sure where to start. Megan is such a dependable player. Every game I know exactly what she will give her team. She is one of the reasons why I can be calm on the sidelines. She has the knowledge, ability, and talent to handle every situation. Most coaches in her league comment on her pink cleats and how well she played. Every game, she was one of the best players on the field. Along with that, she has a smile that I will deeply miss next year. Congratulations on being this year's most valuable player. Courtney Brooks. Wherever I put Courtney, she did an excellent job. She started at halfback, then moved to fullback, and even played forward. She is a strong player that can handle any position. I am looking forward to her playing, mostly on defense, next year. Chantel Lavallee. Chantel played defense for me. I told the whole team defensive players can score too. I don't think Chantel believed me until she scored her first goal. The look on her face was pure amazement. Chantel was also one of the best communicators on the team. She was very supportive and encouraged all of her teammates. Erin Macy. Erin played halfback for me this year. She did a great job and was able to score a couple of big goals. When I first met Erin, I thought she was a quiet girl. This all changed on the way to PHS. She was screaming out the windows of the bus. I had to ask what she was doing. She just said, "I want to say hello to all the college boys." Megan McComb. Megan was a nice surprise to this year's team. She worked hard on improving her skills, which increased her playing time. She has the ability to put the ball in the back of the net. I am looking for big things from her next year. Brooke Supram. Brooke started out the season strong, scoring 3 goals at the start of the season. Brooke never really said much this year. She was just there to play soccer. She too showed improvement throughout the season. Jennifer Bayshard. Jen is this year's most improved player. Even though a number of players improved over the season, Jen was the one that impressed me the most. At the start of the season, she had opportunity after opportunity to score, but always seemed to miss the ball. During one of the games, I was picking on her, and she told me to shut up. As soon as she said it, she realized what she did. She was completely embarrassed, and probably still is. By the end of the season, she finally was able to kick the ball in the net, and had a number of beautiful crosses in the box. Her dribbling skills, shooting, and passing improved throughout the season. This is why she is my most improved player. Johnny Ray Poirier. Johnny Ray has the ability to do a lot of things on the soccer field. As the season went on and she felt more comfortable, her game started to pick up. By the end of the season, she was able to control the middle of the field. I will be looking for big things from her next year. Kim Dragoon. When I think of Kimmy, I think of a girl that is extremely tough. She loves to play soccer, even when she has a broken bone. She played over half the game with a broken wrist, and amazingly did a good job. What she lacks in size, she makes up in heart. Colleen Honan. Colleen is an excellent player. She has the best footwork on the team. She has the ability to trap, dribble, and move around a player or two. This enables her to be a strong midfielder that can control the game. Colleen will have a great season next year. Melanie Barrier. Melanie is an interesting player to coach. She is always full of energy. On the soccer field, I can describe Melanie using one word: aggressive. She never backs down and hustles to every ball. She played mostly in the midfield and did a wonderful job. Now I'd like to thank Cassandra Ashline and Jessica Roger for being my manager and scorekeeper. Even though they were not there every day, they were a great help to the team. I hope you enjoy your gift. finally, I would like to thank Calvin Castline for videotaping many of our games, Josie Gilroy for the help throughout the season, the parents for their support of their children, and finally, my team for a wonderful year. Thank you.
Good evening, parents, coaches, and players. Throughout the season, our team had its ups and downs. We ended up having a 12-6 record. We all improved in our own little way this year. The two captains and I wish you all the best of luck next year, and we will miss you all. We will never forget the good times we had on the bus rides, practices, well, except for that one. And for all the thank yous. We would like to thank our parents for bringing us to and from practices and games, Calvin for taping our games. And we would also like to say thank you to our managers, Cassandra and Jess. And they did a great job, and of course the folks for putting up with us all season. And you see it there, and we had something for the team. And overall, we had an enjoyable season, and we had some memories that will never be forgotten.
With the girls varsity soccer team come down from
Jessica Gattray. Jess Gattray. Brittany Jarvis. Betsy Macy. Kaylee Passano. Nicole Perry. Allie Weiss. Leanne Carson. Courtney Corrier. Haley Colbert. Katie Gay. Jesse Jeanette. Christy Knapp. Casey Lambert. Tiffany Lamberton. Sarah Monty. Amber Puglia. Carrie Tremblay. Darby Turner. Jordan Clark. Rachel Corrier. Alex Corey. Emily O'Hara. Manager Shelby Sterling. And Coach Gilroy.
First, I'd like to congratulate the boys JV soccer team on their CVAC championship and Coach Dumas, and congratulate the boys varsity soccer team on an undefeated season CVAC championship, Section 7 championship, and Coach Hawksby. Sorry. All outstanding accomplishments. Congratulations. I don't have it written down, I forget it. I'd like to thank Tim Supernant and Sarah Hanfield on a job well done with our JV and modified teams. Their successes certainly helped to make my job a little bit easier. I'd like to thank my husband for his support of not only me, but of this team. He's certainly their #1 fan. Hometown Cable and Calvin Pastime for taping some of our games, and the custodians who helped with the fields. I had a great manager this year, Shelby Sterling, and I'd like to thank her for everything she did. Shelby? Thanks to all of those who took part in the major soccer projects that went on this fall, with the new concession stand, the signs, and the work on the new practice fields. They're still in progress, but hopefully we'll have them ready to go for next year. And lastly, but not least, thank you to all the parents for all of their support of this team. I moved 2 young ladies up to varsity for sectionals, Megan Bayshard and Kessa Pirro. They didn't get a chance to play in the one game that we had, but they really helped out in the practices at the end of the season, and I want to thank them for that. Last year, we had 13 seniors, so with only 7 returning players this season would be a rebuilding year. These ladies came together very quickly, and in the end, their regular season record was 13-3-1, the second best record in the league. It's hard to believe that a team that only scored 33 goals in the regular season could end up second in the league. But anyone who watched would realize it's mostly due to the stellar defense, who only allowed 9 goals in league play. The 3 losses were by only 1 goal, and although the forwards struggled to finish, the chances were there, and I'm confident that their experience this year will pay off next year. We do lose 6 seniors this season, but I hope that next year we can not only bake the cake and frost it, but put a championship crown on top. I just had to get a cake reference in there, their favorite treat. The forwards consisted of Jess Gadway, Haley Fogert, Rachel Corrier, Jordan Clark, Kaylee Pasno, Betsy Macy, Casey Lambert, Leanne Carson, Emily O'Hara. Between them, they had 25 goals and 15 assists. Haley was the leading scorer with 7 goals and 6 assists, and probably could have scored a lot more if it wasn't for those whiffs. Apparently, Rachel has a flatulence problem. And what can I say about Jordan? She knocked me right off my feet, literally. Kelly throws the ball in like it's a chess pass. We had a love-hate relationship with the Dutch Gates. And Emily stepped on the field in her first game and proceeded to throw the ball the wrong direction to our opponent. Casey loved all the fall foliage, not foliage. Betsy tried karate moves to keep the ball in play. And burping Jess was the same one, believe it or not, or maybe not. In the midfield, there was Jessie Jeanette, Katie Gay, Sarah Monty, Tiffany Lamberton, Alex Forey, Nicole Perry, Amber Pouliot, and Darby Turner. Not a high-scoring bunch of midfielders, but an effective group nevertheless. Just a few notes. Tiffany kicked the dirt further than the ball when taking corner kicks, and Darby fell on the ground. Jessie found a surprise inside her warm-up pants leg. Amber had visions of a cattle prod, and Darby fell on the ground. Nicole's throw-ins went about 30 yards, and Sarah's went about 3 feet, and Darby fell on the ground. Katie was very quiet all the time, and Alex growled after every kick. And guess what? Darby fell on the ground. We all teased Darby because she really did spend a lot of time on the ground, but thankfully she has a good sense of humor, and she got up smiling every time. On defense, we started with Carrie Tremblay, Allie Weiss, Brittany Jarvis, Christy Knapp, and keeper Courtney Corrier. Carrie was doing very well until she injured her ankle and missed the end of the season. Jessie Jeanette then filled in nicely until she injured her knee. So Sarah Monty finished up the season in the backfield and did a great job. Together, the group allowed only a total of 12 goals against in 19 games, with Courtney earning 10 shutouts. Court. She worked hard this year learning about goalie positioning and proper techniques, and taking some very hard shots from Haley, Jordan, and others. Just check out her wrists. They were sore every day. It's nice to have a tall goalie to stop the high shots and pick off the crosses. Just don't ask her to go into the net and get the ball after, because she gets her elbows stuck in the net, she can't get loose. Brittany, as always, could maneuver up the field, passing opponent after opponent every game. She's an outstanding defensive player with great vision on the field, very unselfish, always looking to pass to someone with a good opportunity to shoot. You could tell just how hard she would work every game when she'd literally wring out her hair afterwards. Allie was an unsung hero on this team. She was consistent day in and day out, never backed off from any opponent, many much larger than she. When an occasional ball got by Courtney, Allie would be the one to come across the goal and clear it out, saving us from an almost sure goal. She took an unbelievable hit to the head, leaving a baseball-sized bump, but luckily for us, it only kept her out of that one game. Christy anchored the defense and seldom would allow an opponent to even get a shot off on a breakaway attempt. Her speed and increased aggressive play made a difference to our team. For most improved player this year, I chose Alex Forey. She increased her endurance throughout the year. She improved offensively, creating opportunities for herself to shoot, and she played solid defense as well. Most improved, Alex Forey. I chose two most valuable players. They're both seniors, and they led by example on the field. They played outstanding defense, they were unselfish players, and they gave 100% every day. Allie was a CVAC Honorable Mention All-Star. Jarv was named to both the Division I and All-Conference All-Star teams for the second year in a row. The most valuable players this year, Allie Weiss and Brittany Jarvis. Short and sweet this year. To the seniors, good luck in college, and don't be strangers, you're always welcome here. To the juniors, sophomores, and upcoming JV players, I look forward to the chance to bring the championship back after this very successful rebuilding season. This year was the space between the torte and the crust. Perhaps next year we can fly over the Dutch gates, scan the universe, and reach for the stars. Thank you.
Good evening. The season went well for us. It's going to be hard for all the seniors to say goodbye. This team was a team where, for once, everyone got along. We could always count on Jess and Emily to give us a little comic relief. But nothing is as humorous as Darby's fancy footwork that always ended with her face down to the puddle, covered in mud. Luckily, she never got injured. However, Allie has permanent head damage from the bruise from the Saranac Lake team. Although we weren't ever a high-scoring team, we always knew when Kayla, that's me, scored because I got a little excited. There are so many good times this team has had, thanks in large part to Miss Guray's fabulous coaching. Miss Guray always knew how to get us moving. All she had to do was tell us that she had cake. Overall, we had a great season. It's too bad it couldn't have gone further. But everyone knows how hard it is to beat the same team 3 times in a row. There's always next year, girls, so let's make it happen. Now I'd like to say thanks to some individuals. First of all, to Mr. Guray for being our biggest fan and for bringing us cookies. A special thanks goes to John Hogan for taking our pictures and Calvin for taping our games. And last but not least, our fans and parents. Thank you all. And thank you, Calvin.
Could we have the boys' JV soccer team come out there, please?
Oh, my God.
I don't remember that. Oh, yeah.
Nick Bayshard, Chris Matop, Dustin Poisson, Jordan Babby, Anthony Changelo, Corey Davison, Chris Guerin, Casey Guerin, Cody Gay, Jeremy Jeanette, Nick Letourneau, Jordan Marks, Ethan McCarthy, Josh Misek, Robert Pieper, Tyler Sample, Andrew Southwick, Tyler Tatro, Corey Trombley, Nate Weiss, Manager Ryan Bayshard. Please welcome the boys JV soccer team and coach Frank Cougar.
We have a lot of time left over, so I'm going to use some of it up. I know that's very unusual, but we'll make it a little different tonight. Josie usually takes most of the time, but it's the boys' turn. Congratulations to the boys varsity, CBAC champ, coach of the year, Dale Hoxton. Mr. Hoxton, dear to my heart, does one hell of a job, cares for these kids. And guess what? He's a Red Sox fan, and the Red Sox did it. He's a little older than I am. You add our years up, took 100 years between us to get it, so I got him a little shirt for it. It says, Daddy got whooped. Dale, would you come forward and get this, please? I'll continue on. Mr. Guerin earlier had a very nice speech in the first awards. If you get a chance, listen to it. I'm sure Calvin will have it on. And not only he took the evening to give a little respect to his athletes, but he gave a respect to the community. And I back him 100% for that. This year, we had many things go on. And no matter who we went to and what we asked, if we said it was for the kids or the athletes, there was no question. People were there to help. So it just goes to show that we always demand respect from these athletes to the coaches. Well, guess what, athletes? We have a lot of respect for you. We have a lot of respect for, you hear in and out that get to the ball, you're getting beat to the ball, and every once in a while I'll hear a peck holler that, or some excited mother, or John flashing the camera, and the camera's over here, and he's hollering, get to the ball. But, you take it with stride, and believe me, this community respects this soccer program big time. All you have to do is look out there what happened this year. We've got a great group involved right now, and like I said, all you had to do was ask, say it was for the kids, and they were there. There's so many people in that middle sheet that, did things, and hopefully we didn't forget anybody. But, we could go to a business like Shazy Hardware, or we could go to Diesel Cement, and they never shook their head. 3 guys, I was around here a lot this year, and I got to see a lot of things going on. And I'd like to recognize Larry Bayshard, John Courier, and Dave Lambert. Are they in here? Stand up, please. Stand up. That might have been involved, but those gentlemen right there gave their heart and soul, used a lot of their own personal equipment, and took care of business. So that is one fine point that you got to remember, athletes, that this community supports you. And believe me, you give us a lot to be supportive of. As always, I'd like to thank first our superintendent, Mr. Hebert. You take the old timers like Josie and Kieran. They've been around forever, okay? They've been in that booster club, pushing things, trying to make things. They do a lot for this community. And they always wanted a building like Seton, a building like Seton. We're going to have one of those one day. We got a new administrator here now. He really cares for sports. He's out there. He's a very, very busy man. It's not the easiest job to have, but he's out there supporting these kids, and that's a great thing to see. So I think this community, we should be very proud of Mr. Hebert. I'd like to have a round of applause for him. Parents, my parents, my team, and all the other teams, we can't ask for a better group of parents. Youth commission coaches, ball people, they'll come up. They got better things to do than to work all day. Come up, ask them to run balls to the sidelines so the athlete doesn't have to go on the other side of the field. I think that's just great. And I'm sure it'll happen again in the future, and you'll be asked again, and I know the answer will always be yes. The Booster Club, small in numbers, but they're getting a lot done. A lot done. We should be very fortunate to have such a group. And when they ask for a little help, it makes a big difference, because we wouldn't be where we are today and look so sharp, like Mr. Garrett said in the opening speech, if it wasn't for that Booster Club. My team, a great thanks. I had a team in 1991 that I thought was probably the best team I'd ever see as long as I was on this earth. But you guys stepped right up, and you're darn close to them. We went undefeated that year, and I don't think we had a close game all year. But they were a team like you guys that was very mature and trustworthy, where I didn't have to keep turning my back and instruct and say, stop doing this, let's not have any horseplay. I would get here, my team would be on the field, they'd be warming up on their own, and I could be sneaky sometimes. I'd come in different parts of the building, and I'd stand behind something and watch them. I never had to worry about a thing. They took care of business. And they had one loss. But we came into this season, and we had no goal. And in soccer, it's a pretty important position. And up to about, I don't know, probably 7-8 days before we started, we still weren't sure we was going to play goalie. I went home, thought about it, and I came up and I said, Dustin, you're going to be our goalie. He kind of went, okay. Well, now we had to really work on the basics. This guy had never really played any kind of goaltender, so I'll tell you what, we shot the ball at him an hour out of every practice, every day. And I know some of those practices got boring because we needed to work on defense, and we needed to work on the keeper, so most of our drills were very, very repetitious. But these guys never complained. Day in and day out, they knew what they had to do, and it worked. He did a great job. He ended up with 6 shutouts. 6 shutouts for a guy who's never played goal before. He'd go after the ball like there was no tomorrow. We lost him in a game in Saranac. We would have been undefeated. We were a minute and 50 seconds from being undefeated. He made the initial stop, got kicked in the nose, broke his nose in, 2 or 3 places. And he come off the field like, no problem. He said, did it go in? Did it go in? Of course, I don't think he knew whether it was Tuesday or Thursday. But, and I respect him for that. He never said a word. And we weren't easy on him. But I was spoiled. I had a little bit of everything. I had a team that scored 80 goals. That's quite an accomplishment to score 80 goals. I had one guy with 16, another guy with 15, another guy with 11. That's a lot of goals. Mr. Hawksby's got a nice group of boys coming up, and I got a nice group also that's going to come back, and Mr. Garrett's sending me a nice group. So we're not going to rebuild, we're going to reload, and we're going to continue to be very, very competitive. Next year we're going for both championships, boys and girls. My awards. Of course, when you're undefeated, I'd like to give everybody awards, but that's impossible. As it is, I got 4 of them, and I guess I got to pay for some of that too. I know Hawksby's got to pay too. Okay, I have 2 most improved awards. Most deserving, this guy played defense. He was my center fullback. Very seldom could I rest him, because when I rest him, everything went wacko, and I'd have to go to him and say, are you ready? Are you ready? Can I get you back in? And another quiet player, never says much, comes to practice, works his tail off, respects his coaches, respects his players, doesn't say a word to an official, which none of these guys usually do, and just a leader. Most improved player goes to Casey Guerin. This guy's probably going to be a little surprised, but I'll tell you what, when I needed to rest some of my key halfbacks, because I depended a lot on my halfback positions this year, this guy, I'd have to switch him around. Sometimes, boy, he wasn't quite sure, but I could put him on the line, I could put him in halfback, I could move him to fullback, and I bet if I told him to play in net, he'd go in there and not say a word. To me, he's a quiet guy, but sometimes you say that about a student or an athlete, never look at you and say, are you sure? But around me, he was a perfect gentleman, another leader, Chris Guerin. Two most valuable players, very, very well deserved. These two guys are leaders and will be leaders the rest of their lives. They know when it's time to fool around. They know when I'm serious. They could have probably coached that team and all I had to do was fill the book out. They could have took care of business. Well, they probably would have stayed in the whole game. They probably wouldn't have took themselves out. But these two boys are going to go someplace. Anthony Changelo and Chris Matata. That's all I have to say. Oh, I want a couple of thank yous, yes. Thank you to John, who battles the cold just like the rest of us, hands us numerous pictures, never takes anything for it, and just loves doing it. I worked with John, I don't know, John was there, but this was a few years back, and John says, when you don't have to work today, so I'm going up, I coach in soccer, I got a game. You know, he says, I've never seen a soccer game. I'll say, John, it's cheap entertainment. Back then, I think we only charged $1. And up he came. And I think he's been to more soccer games than I have since he saw his first one. He fell in love with the game. And he's great to the kids. Now he's expanded his wings. He takes a few pictures at Clinton, I believe, Plattsburgh State, and he's a well-known guy now. If you go to a game, you don't see John, you wonder where he is. And thanks to Calvin, and I can't say it. No, I was going to teach you about the pole. No, that's okay. We'll let it go. That's it for me. Bye now. Sorry. Another Red Sox fan, I forgot. My manager, where's Ryan? This guy's first class. One game he missed and it was turmoil. The water jug was at another school. We didn't bring enough balls. It was turmoil. This guy's first class, and if you ever need, he's going to be a business manager someplace someday because he's organized. Every once in a while you get under the boy's skin because he might get mixed up about to pick up the equipment after practice. But this guy's a leader also. Yeah, Ryan Bayshire. Is that
This season was a great one. We had a lot of kids come up and modify this year, so we all get used to each other's playing styles. By the time our games rolled around, we knew how to play together. We came together to form a great team and play spectacular soccer all year long. We came so close to an undefeated season, but it just slipped away from us. We didn't let this take away from us though. We continued to play soccer just as we had before. This team has played great soccer and has shown the strength of our program for years to come. We wouldn't have been the team we were this year without Mr. Dumas. He helped us out a lot and taught us to play together as a team. Without his help, this year wouldn't have had an outcome completely for us. Thank you.
fine old Frank, you must be a senior citizen. The AARP is sending us stuff, aren't they? Would Mike O'Connor come down front, please? Stand right front and take a bow. In each season, the CVAC All-Academic Award is presented to 2 seniors athletes in recognition of their contribution to an achievement in sport as well as their success in academics. Earlier this evening, the female recipient who was on the cross-country team was Katrin Herdick, and our male recipient this year in 2004 from the soccer team, Mike O'Connor. His picture will go in the paper sometime in the next few months. We have the boys varsity soccer team down front, please. Sorry, Dale, you're not as old as me. You don't forget everything yet.
Can you come out? Stage. Oh no.
Tommy Babby. Dustin Bowman. Tyler DeCoste. Lucas Dunn. Doug Goodfellow. Mike Harrigan. Jed Ladd. Corey Letourneau. Mike O'Connor. Mike Rao. Brandon Sample. Matt Seguin. Aaron Batchelder. James Frankie. Jonathan Hardigan. Kyle Kent. Justin Marks. Matt Phillips. Mike Southwick. David Warner. Keith Dupree. Scorekeeper Nicole Moore. Timer Jenna Martineau. Please welcome the championship boys varsity soccer team and coach Dale Hopkins.
All right. I want to thank Mr. Zimmer for that t-shirt. That was really sweet. What a great year. What a great year being undefeated, CVAC champs, sectional champs, and obviously the Red Sox winning the World Series. What a great year. Congratulations to the boys JV team for their championship year. I want to thank my parents for helping out during the tournament and supporting us throughout the year. Especially it's nice to know when you go up and travel 2 hours away and we got more fans up there than the home team has. Well, that's really nice to see. I want to thank Mrs. Garwood for everything she does during our soccer season. Calvin for taping our games. Rob Guerin, the modified coach. He does a great job year after year. Frank Dumas, Mr. Dumas, for doing a great year at JV, and for his assistance during my games on the sidelines. I also want to thank my scorekeepers, Nicole Moore and Jenna Martineau. I got something for you guys, so come on. And I want to thank my wife Shirley for everything she does to support and supporting me through the season. Dorothea Southwick, I want to thank her for helping us with the injuries this year, and Carol Bayshard for helping out also with the team. As a whole, as a boys program, we had a super year. Our record was 19-1-1. The JV boys were 17-1-0, and the modified program was 11-1. Again, our program is sound and it's looking really good. We're undefeated, and the JV lost their game towards the end of the season, and so did the modified. So we're just looking good for years down the road. I want to thank the coaches down in the youth program for helping us out. They do a tremendous job down there, and I want to thank them guys. Looking back at last year's team, we were young, we're still learning the game, and this year I think they decided to just do this one simple thing, is to listen to the coach. Very simple. And it paid off. Right from the first game we played in the tournament, I knew it was going to be a great season. It ended up being an awesome season. The Pizza Championship, like I said, CVAC champs, undefeated, Class B sectional champs. We met all of our goals. I knew this was a different team from all the rest I've coached before. They showed confidence, they focused, they hustled, they passed the ball well, and it seemed like every time they stepped on the field, they were going to win. It's always a big bonus to score first, and we scored first in 20 of our 22 games we played. A few of our highlights this year was Tommy Babby scoring from 35 yards out, closing minutes to beat Seton. Luke's goal with 2 minutes left to beat Saranac 1-0. Two beautiful goals by Michael Harrigan against Beatmantown in the sectional finals. And who could forget that overtime goal by Johnny Hardigan, beat Seton in the overtime game. And we scored a goal 34 seconds into the game. We scored a goal. So that's something real wild. Headed into the sectionals, the pressure was on. Being undefeated, everybody's just waiting to knock you out of that sectional game. In the semifinals, we played Plattsburgh. We came through beating them guys 2-1. In the finals, we played Beatmantown, and they say it's always hard to beat a team 3 games in the same year. But don't tell these guys that. We played probably one of the best sectional games I've ever seen. You could tell they wanted to move on. In the regional game against Potsdam, the team was ready to play. They played a very exciting, emotional, all-out game. What a great game. It was the best game I've seen in a long time. We scored first, we were doing all the right things, but after 3 overtimes, we fell short. I think we were all in a state of shock because never lost a game before. Having it end that way is very difficult to comprehend. In the end, all I could do is know that you guys played your best that I could ask for. You played with a lot of heart. You never gave up. And a little bit on the side note, the better team didn't win that game, that's for sure. This team is by far the best team that has come out of this school. I became very close to this team. I'm very proud of the way they played all season long. They made great memories, and I will keep them always. As years go by, I will tell future teams about the team I had in 2004. Quoting Luke, as he said in the paper, it was a magical season, one we won't all forget. undefeated. The last one we had in this school was 1991, so a great year. For the underclassmen, you were all a great part of this. Now I'll see you next year so we can pick up where we left off. For the 12 seniors that have leaving me this year, I want to wish you the best. That's all you can do. And I hope you have a great future in sports wherever you do. Don't be afraid to stop back in and see us sometime. We'll get on with my awards here. Most Improved Award. My most improved player goes to Johnny Hardy. John, I call him Johnny. You know, he's this great kid. He plays with a lot of heart, which makes up for some of the skills that he's had or he's working on. He started off a little bit timid, but he kept on getting better and better. And like I said, who forget that goal against seeing as a joy, as a coach, you like to see the joy in that kid's face, the excitement he had, scoring that goal. That's something I will definitely never forget. All right. Oh, they're nice pictures, John. Okay. Being had so many seniors and they're all great players, we had to pick them. I couldn't decide on most valuable player, so I picked 4 or 5 here. So great job and great players. Most valuable player. My first one goes to, he was a captain. My first one goes to Tommy Batten. He was a leader back there, defense, and all along with Aaron and the rest of the guys that had 11 goals against. He's a strong player. He stopped the offense dead. And every once in a while, we move up the offense, and sure enough, he went up there and scored some big goals for us game after game. And he's definitely going to be hard to replace. My next most valuable player goes to Matt Sieglin. Matt played stopper, and that's what he did. He stopped the other teams right in their tracks. Then he'd move the ball up as quickly as he can. He's like lightning speed going up that sideline. He's probably one of the fastest. I don't know, he might be faster than Luke. I think he is. But no, maybe not. But he is fast. You know, it was just a joy to watch. Have that defensive player move right up all the way up to the wing, and you watch that kid go up, and it was just amazing to see. And also, he scored some goals and had some great assists on some plays, and he's just a great player. Thanks, Matt. My next most valuable player would be also Captain Dustin Bowman. Dustin played center midfield. Talented player, controlled the midfield. And he'd be out there the whole game. I had to leave him out there. Every once in a while we would switch, but you see that tie, you know, move to the other team and give him about 2 minutes rest, and you know, when I could, and then I had to put him right back in there. Like I said, he's very talented, and he's also going to be hard to replace for next year. Nice job, Dustin. Two more. Well, you're also great, and I had a hard time deciding. Most valuable player, my next one will be Mike Kerrigan. You looked at me, you look confused. Yes, Mike, you got it. You deserved it. Michael transferred in from Peru last year. And Peru, if you follow, Peru had a really great season last year. And so when I saw Mike coming on the team, I said, that's my eyes. I was just smiling. Mike was just icing on our cake, as you say. He's a gamer, definitely a gamer, and he has a nose for the net. He scored some very big goals for us when we needed it. Sometimes Luke would be, 3 guys on him or 2 guys on him, and leave Mike there, and Mike just, had some really big games for us and great goals. He has great skills and knowledge of the game, and Mike would definitely be missed next year, and it's going to be hard to replace him. My last most valuable player goes to Luke Dunn. Luke was also a captain. I never had a player as quick and as fast as Luke. Well, Matt, yeah. But Luke's pretty fast. He's also very exciting to watch and a great player to coach. Like I said, other teams are trying to mark him with, one guy, then you want to do the job, and the 2 guys come over, and we switch them left and right. The guy would follow him around, and it's pretty amazing to watch. But the thing about it, he never stopped. He'd kick him in the heels and try to just put a pounding on him every game. And that kid would just come back and play hell of a game. So he never gave up, and gave 110%. That's Luke Dunn. Great job. Okay, had our coaches meeting. We pick all-stars. The other coaches pick players. We did very well. First team, Craig Morrell, league MVP was Luke Dunn. First team was Mike Kerrigan, Dustin, Matt Sieglin, and Tommy Babby. And second team was Heath Dupree, which he helped us out a lot this year. He had like 12 or 13 goals. Expect big things from Heath next year. And honorable mention was Brandon Sample. Good job, Brandon. And I also recognize the 3 players I brought up from JV: Chris Matat, Anthony Chalangelo, and Casey Garrett. Great job. All right, as you can see, it was a very great year and a very interesting year, but the kids, it's a super team, and definitely will not be forgotten by me, that's for sure. It was just exciting to watch, and it's just a great year. Jenna and Nicole have got something for the boys, for the seniors, so they would come up and recognize them.
Okay, we're going to try to make this quick. Obviously, our guys had an amazing season,
And we just thought it would be right to give our seniors some special awards to remember their season by. Sorry ahead of time, guys. We love you, and we can give you some cookies tomorrow if you let us bet. I start with Tommy Babby, most likely to get in a fight. Matt Seawin, most likely to be Tommy's bouncer. Dustin Bowman, most likely to run his mouth. Brandon Sample, most likely to fall in his face and swear. Doug Goodfellow, our favorite bench warmer. Corey Letourneau, most likely to flirt with the other team. Lucas Dunn, most likely to come off the field hurt. Tyler DeCoste, most likely to be moving like a snail. Mike O'Connor, most likely to almost score. Mike Harrigan, most likely to get a yellow card. You have most of the teams. Jed Ladd, most likely to think he's playing football. And Mike Rao, most likely to give some lip to the coach. And last but not least, Coach Hospi, most likely to be spitting sunflower seeds.
Before I get started, I just have the guys get together and we got Calvin a little gift.
Let's see that speed. Get a sequel. Get a sequel.
Thank you to our scorekeepers. We got you guys all something through Coach. For Coach, we actually got Coach a jacket. We got mine together and we're ordering it tomorrow. It's gonna have our record on it. A nice little gift for him to remember us by. Alright. Well, what can I say besides what a season? Pizza Hut tournament champions, the first undefeated NCCS boys soccer team since 1991, runaway CBAC Class B champions, and Section 7 Class B champions. From the very beginning, it was easy to see that we had a chance to do something special. We possessed the most skilled, most reliable goalkeeper in the league, Aaron. The most consistent, toughest defense in the league, a midfield that could run circles around any team on any given night, and the fastest front line that could put the ball in the net. We had all these essential ingredients and a coach who was able to bring us together as a team. A team unlike any other this school has seen. A team that silenced all its critics through its play. A team that stuck together through all kinds of adversity. A team that had fun, yet still maintained a work ethic. And above all, a team that would accept nothing less than victory. On behalf of the team, I'd like to thank the 3 boys coaches for all they have done for us over the years. To Mr. Guerin, who taught us the basics of the game and got us accustomed to winning. To Mr. Dumas, who taught us the meaning of commitment, the rewards that hard work can bring, and how to carry ourselves as respectable young men. And lastly, to Coach Hawksby, who helped us refine our skills and led us to one of the best seasons in school history. All of these men deserve a round of applause for all they have done. On behalf of my fellow seniors, I'd like to thank each and every one of you who supported us during our time here playing soccer. None of this would have been possible without your support. In closing, it's easy to see that the experiences this team had this year will have a lasting impact on our lives. 2004, the year the Red Sox broke the curse against all odds, and the year our soccer team went undefeated, also against all odds. I can still remember the first day I joined this core group of guys before you. A hot summer day filled with countless jumping jacks, long runs aplenty, push-ups, sit-ups, and Mr. Dumas' voice telling us to do 10 more, over and over again. I never thought it would come to an end. Senior year was so far away back then. But tonight, most of us before you, the end is now. Tonight, we end our time as Cougar soccer players with our heads held high, having no regrets. To us, the season, along with our careers, were perfect. Thank you.
We have just a few more things. First of all, Matt and Luke, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning on the track, we'll settle this fastest guy. I want to mention that we had approximately 175 athletes and 9 managers participating this fall, and there's only a handful of certificates back here of people that weren't here, so I'm very pleased for that turnout. And right now there are 2 Booster Club officers that are here, and they have something to say. Carol Bayshard, Chris Chantolo, come down front, please.
Yeah. It's like, I can't believe it.
Well, for everybody who knows me, it's hard to believe that I have a loss of words and severe stage fright. I'm not good at this. But we just quickly like to say thank you to everybody from the Booster Club, the parents, the athletes, coaches, for everything that you've done this year. We really appreciate everything. We've had great support. You were there when we needed you. You were there with food. You were there working the booth. We had a great time. The building that we have is beautiful. We love it. We have running water. We have a stove. We have a refrigerator. It's the best thing. We'd like to thank everybody that's listed in the program. We have a couple special thanks we'd like to give to a few special people that worked extra hard in planning and organizing and being like the groundwork of what we did. We'd like to thank John Corrier and Larry Bayshard. And we'd like to really give a special thanks to Frank Dumas. He was there for everything. He was there when we needed gas for our stove. He was there when giving us monetary help with our building and our fences. And we really appreciate everything that he's done for us. And hopefully he'll be there for many more years to help us. For those of you that are seniors, we have your pictures in the foyer. We'd like to keep those, and we're going to keep them until after the senior banquet at the end of the year, and then those pictures are yours. And I'd also like to give a special thanks to Carol Bayshard, our president. She's there for everything. You won't believe how much work she does beyond everybody else in the Booster Club. We hope to see you during basketball season to support us some more. Thank you.
Yes, that's it tonight.